All right, so I'm here with VK tonight, and if you have not already subscribed, make sure that you go down and hit that subscribe button. So tonight, I'm actually trying something brand new. We're going live on Facebook as well on my Facebook profile. So if you're watching there, let us know in the comments. I really wanted to try this out, see if maybe we should create a Comics Lounge page on Facebook. Right now, I can't stream from StreamYard to Instagram, so unfortunately, we're kind of just doing it this way. For right now to see if we can get some viewers and kind of go from there. But anyways, let's hit that intro before we start talking about all of this amazing stuff. Tonight we're going to be talking about Loki, the trailer, everything that we're expecting to see, everywhere we're expecting it to go, and then Bad Batch. And it looks amazing so far. So here we go.
The Avengers. That's what we call ourselves. Earth's mightiest heroes.
I have an army.
We have a Hulk.
I want to do the Z when I hear
that. All right, VK. So I want to start with Bad Batch. I've been doing, like I said, before we went live, we were kind of talking for a few minutes, and I've got my notes
nice
on everything, just kind of ready to go. And I know that you had mentioned in the comments before everything started, but first, what is up, Passpoint? So good to see you.
Welcome.
Soul Twice, good to see you. What it do, Pikachu?
Nice avatar. That was cool.
Soul Twice does his own artwork too. So if you haven't checked him out on Instagram, it's absolutely amazing. So the first question the VK came up with that I want to discuss is, does Crosshair rejoin the Bad Batch? And I've actually seen some people thinking that he might have actually betrayed the Bad Batch.
Well, I don't know if betrayed would be the word, because we don't know what's going on and how he interacts with his group. You know, his group might just go, hey, that's Crosshair. You know, he's always been down with the Empire. He's always by the book. That's him. Whatever, as long as he stays out of our way. Whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? And then boom, what happens? They lose Crosshair. What do they gain? Fennec Shand, another sniper. You know what I mean? So there's that. And then, so again, back to Crosshairs. I'm thinking that, so toy figures, and I've mentioned this before, action figures and toy figures a lot of times can give you little hints on what's going on with the show. And the Crosshair figure, it's a lock. He's definitely going to be staying with the Empire. Okay, lots of him in an Empire trooper uniform, and there's shots of the figure, you know, that even says, you know what I mean, that he's with the Empire. So really the question is, does he go off on his own and become, you know, a gun for hire, you know, and then possibly we see him pop up in Boba Fett? Whoa, that just came to mind.
That would be amazing. What's up, Cray Cray?
He pops in Boba Fett as a hired gun, you know, and then he rejoins Bad Batch then? Or does he rejoin Bad Batch at the end of the show? Because he's like, hey, guys, because now that I'm thinking about it, you know, Fennec Shand is Boba Fett's right-hand man. So I doubt she'll stay with the Bad Batch, but maybe during the show, she helps them out. And then at the end of the show, Crosshairs, Bad Batch reunite. A lot of possibilities.
So the one thing that I did see from Star Wars Theory when I was doing some research on this and kind of figuring out where are they going to take this and where is it going to go? Obviously, Clone Wars just kind of gave us a little introduction into them. It seems like we're going to go all the way back to when they first became a team and they were kind of training, and then kind of jump to, I think it's actually Order 66 or right after when this is all happening. So we're kind of going to see like the evolution of the Bad Batch now, not just them in this one little snippet. And it's going to be kind of interesting to see where, like, are we going to get a big bad villain, or is Crosshair going to be like the main antagonist, kind of going up against Bad Batch?
Ooh, you said a couple things. Okay, so the main point you're asking is about a big baddie?
Yeah.
Okay. But just to reiterate, to go back a little bit, so Clone Wars actually went pretty in depth with the Bad Batch and what they're about, and things like that. So you got a really good inkling of them. So there's a little bit of a debate in the Star Wars fandom. Is Bad Batch going to start off right in the midst of Order 66 chaos, or is it going to start right after Order 66? So it's still speculating on that. My personal take is that it's going to be right after Order 66, but throughout the series, the script or the vocabulary is going to constantly refer to it and constantly talk about it, and you can't. It's such a huge event, Order 66. You cannot not like go throughout the whole Bad Batch without talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now for the big baddie, you got Tarkin, you got Vader, Anakin's a lot to be showing up. So it's like, how big do you need besides Vader? You know what I mean? Anakin.
For sure. And I mean, the one thing about the Bad Batch in the trailer, they say the only one that can keep up with Bad Batch is like they can keep up with an army. They're an army in of themselves. They kind of remind me of Army of Two, the video game, except there's 5 of them. Like they're just every one of them has a piece of them that's kind of how can I put it?
Unique.
Yeah, they each fill a role, I guess is the best way to put it. Like you've got the tech guy, Echo. He's kind of a cyborg at this point.
The tracker, logistics.
Exactly. You've got the sniper in now I'm blanking on the name that we've just been talking about.
Echo, Wrecker, Hunter, Sniper.
Crosshair. Yep. Crosshair. Hunter's kind of like that leader.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, like they're amazing.
Yeah.
It's an awesome team. And I think in Clone Wars, did we get 6 episodes of them? I think it was a 6-episode story arc.
7th episode. Little tip on everybody out there in the chat and watching. Little tip: rewatch episode 7.
Okay.
Rewatch episode 7 if you can't rewatch all of the last season of Clone Wars. Past Point Comics asks, so Bad Batch was not affected by what happened in Clone Wars? Negatively, no, they were not affected because they weren't Jedi. You know what I mean? But actually, they were affected a little bit positively because now they were hired.
Yeah.
The Empire hired them, after Order 66, or maybe did they hire him during, or maybe we're going to find out in Bad Batch. So
that was kind of the other question that arose when I was doing my research, and what I was kind of learning was, and there's no solid answer on this, but I want to hear your take. Was Bad Batch affected by Order 66? Did they have to carry it out, or do you believe that the Empire actually took out their inhibitor chips because they were, or not the Empire, but the creators of the clones? Do you think they took out their inhibitor chips when they noticed that they weren't proper clones?
That's a good question, and that's actually another topic amongst the fandom. Is like everybody's going, do they have their inhibitor chips? Do they not? And it's maybe the chat can help me in with this. Rex has his chip out. Ahsoka helped out. But Echo, the guy with the
the key for a hand.
Yeah. Everybody's asking, does he still have it in or no?
And that's what I saw was
during this Bad Batch series, are they going to take it out or no? And the Clone Wars guys, are they going to take it out? And now I understand Past Point's comment on how they were affected. So it doesn't seem like they had a chip in there, or maybe their mutation, their clone mutation as they were growing, did something to it, made it, inert. Who knows? But no, they weren't infected in that way. They didn't turn into Jedi killing machines.
Yeah, and since Echo's a cyborg, was he able to kind of override it when he felt the urge, or when he felt it turn on? I mean, that was another question that I had.
And he actually was captured by the Techno Union, or I think it's the Techno Union.
I believe so. It's been
That's-
so long since I've rewatched Clone Wars. I watched it two or three times, like straight through. But even that was like 5 years ago because I wasn't expecting another iteration of Clone Wars. I was like, okay, that was absolutely amazing. I loved every second of it. But that's probably it. When they gave us the final season, what was it, 2, 3, 4 years ago, maybe? I watched it twice over within like 3 days and was like, okay, I want to rewatch the entire series. So I went back and rewatched the whole thing. And I mean, there were certain story arcs that were just amazing. I remember watching on Twitter. Yeah. I mean, like, seriously, goosebumps just thinking about some of the amazing story arcs that these clones went through. And especially Rex and Fives, like those were my two favorites. They were amazing.
Passpoint asks, I hope Ahsoka and Rex show up. Passpoint, you're in luck. Rex is a lock. He's definitely in there.
Yeah.
Now, Ahsoka, I was thinking the same thing. So I actually rewatched a little bit of Clone Wars last night, and I was going, Ahsoka has to.
Yeah.
It would be almost like, really? You know what I mean? Or just, like even if it's for, one episode, you know what I mean? For 10, 15 minutes. It's because she's all up in those final seasons.
For sure.
And Comics for the Cover, welcome.
What's up, Mikey? Good to see you, buddy. Yeah, I mean, that's the amazing part about this. That's one of the things that I really enjoy about the What If series being animated. With Bad Batch being animated, you don't really have to do a lot of CGI. You don't have to worry about actors getting older. You don't have to worry about this fitting in. It's just you can make it whatever you want to make it.
Yeah.
And
Star Wars got that. They got that formula down pat, this whole adult animation thing. Because I'm picturing people doing it, and I'm going, I think Marvel would screw that up for some reason. Even though how amazing they are with their films, and they crush it, I just can't see them being able to do it like Star Wars. Like literally, I rewatched it last night, a couple episodes, and I was one scene I was getting a little choked up. You know what I mean? Do it so well.
And I mean, I'm hoping that like this kind of sparks the Clone Wars saga again. Like this kind of breathes new life into that era of Star Wars because, I mean, we kind of got to see Mandalore in The Mandalorian, but it was like a very downplayed version of it. It wasn't the Mandalore that we saw in the Clone Wars. And I mean, those characters in the Clone Wars of Mandalore, amazing. The relationship that Obi-Wan had, the relationship that we got to see with just the Mandalorians within, like them fighting over each other. Death Watch was a phenomenal. Like every little piece of it was just so well done.
I agree, man. And there's what's so amazing about Clone Wars. I feel like in 10 years they're gonna look back at Clone Wars and go, no sequels, no prequels. The best is Clone Wars. You know what I mean? Because like you just brought up Mandalore, and I'm going, oh my God, he's right.
Yeah.
Like that could have been that whole episodes of Mandalore and Clone Wars about Mandalore towards the end. That itself could be a whole nother Disney Plus show.
Oh, for sure.
Or Mandalore. It could be a whole new one. And then Maul, and then that could be a whole streaming service. And then Maul being occupying Mandalore. That could be a whole stream, a new show.
Yeah.
Like, there's so many good angles and good stories that they could really pursue.
The Night Sisters. I don't know if you've played the Star Wars video game Jedi.
No,
Fallen Order.
I have not played one Star Wars game. I'm looking to do it though.
Jedi Fallen Order actually kind of went into the Night Sisters very minimally. You kind of got to see them, battle with them, fight with them, and see some of their powers. But I mean, in Clone Wars, that gave me like the chills. Every episode of that story arc was just so freaky, so scary. Watching it, even like when I was old, like when I was in my early 20s, watching that was just, it was so cool to see this one show cross over into so many different genres. Like you had horror, you had this, you had that. It was so amazing. What is up, Rafi? Good to see you, buddy.
Welcome.
Glad you could join us. Right now we're talking Star Wars Bad Batch. Where do we think it's going to go? What do we think it can kind of do? And another thing that as I was learning about Bad Batch, is it too early for a Vader reveal in season 1? Do you think they're going to reveal Vader, or do you think they're going to kind of hold off on him and do kind of like what you mentioned in your original comment? Maybe bring some Inquisitors in to start and see if the Inquisitors can keep up with the Bad Batch, and then season 2 we see Vader.
Well, Vader's a definite lock.
Okay.
A definite lock to be in the show. So really, to me, the question is, how much of Anakin do we get?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are we going to get, just a mild Anakin, or are we, where it's going to be a couple, like in the Clone Wars, that final season where we saw Vader find Ahsoka's lightsaber?
Yeah.
Are we gonna get like one little quick scene like that that's just really powerful? Or I think we're going to see him a good amount. Oh, don't even start on Ventress past point. Oh, but everybody's saying she's dead. She's dead.
Yeah.
But
I don't remember what
her. I think we're going to see Barriss Offee. Actually, that's my long shot play on this
Okay.
scene. And let me tell you something. That would be interesting because Anakin is pissed at Barriss Offee for getting Ahsoka, for framing Ahsoka. So that would be interesting if Barriss Offee shows up and then Vader just goes full youngling on her.
That would be so amazing, because in all honesty, it's kind of interesting the routes they could take with this one show. You could really dive into them being like these errand runners for the Empire. You could dive into the Empire hunting them down. You could dive into another whole other realm that I saw was maybe Crosshair is actually being held captive by the Empire and using him as collateral for them to kind of do the Empire's bidding.
Use who?
Use the Bad Batch to do the Empire's bidding and keep Crosshair like kind of in captivity almost, to basically encourage them, hey, do this and we'll give you your friend back.
Ah, yeah, that's an interesting take on that.
Yeah,
well, of course, that's a possibility. But I think it's going to be more of, I think it's going to be a little bit more cut and dry, where Crosshair's like, hey, Echo left the Republic and stayed with Bad Batch. I'm going to stay with the Empire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's all about, those guys have that philosophy. You go where you fit in. You go where you feel you're comfortable. You go where your skills can be used the most.
For sure.
I think it's going to be cut and dry, where Echo's like, hey, I'm with the Empire. You guys are cool. You go on your way. Let's stay out of each other's way and be copacetic and chill. And then I think, but small world, and I think they're going to be interacting every once in a while, and then at the end, they somehow reconcile.
Yeah. Past point saying Darth Maul was dead. I know that he's dead at this stage of the game, but we're also saying, what could this revive and kind of do some retconning to create a Darth Maul storyline where he was like before he dies, and kind of explore his route a little bit more than we got to see in Clone Wars.
Darth Maul, I feel like he's not going to show up in Bad Batch.
Yeah, anything, I don't think so.
Yeah, if anything, I think it's the Kenobi show.
That would be kind of cool.
And going back to how who was it? Yeah, Past Point mentioned Ventress, and there's a lot of chatter about Maul popping up in Kenobi. So if they bring back Maul, who you couldn't be any more dead than Maul, it's so if they bring back Maul, then then Ventress is a hardcore possibility, and I would just love that. I love the banter between Ventress and Kenobi.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Ventress
Definitely.
was trying to kill him.
Yeah, and I mean, a lot of it was just the similarities in who their teachers were and the hatred that they had. Like, okay, you think that you're amazing because of whatever, but I was taught by the same person as you, so you can't be that much better than me, or I'm better than you are because now my teacher has the dark side on his side, and we can kind of get into that. And like their back and forth throughout the entire Clone Wars series was phenomenal. I was
Yeah.
actually really upset that we never got to see Ventress in live action in episode 3.
Oh, I agree.
And like episode 3 totally missed its mark in my opinion, because we got to see a lot of like the Kenobi storyline. We got to see a lot of Kenobi versus Anakin. We got to see so much, but it didn't completely line up with where Clone Wars kind of showed us Anakin's story was going.
Yeah.
We got to see Anakin in a whole different light in Clone Wars, to the point where that Anakin in Clone Wars could not easily turn into the Anakin in episode 3. Like there would have to be a major snap that would have to take place for him to go on any kind of killing spree. And because we got to see Anakin at his finest. Like he was a Jedi Knight. He was being groomed for master. He was ready to kind of take that on. And then in episode 3, he's kind of like a whiny little brat. I mean, just being real. I was not a fan of where Hayden Christensen took that character and where the director took that character in episode 3.
Yeah, I blame the director. I don't really blame the actor, you know, for it. And I feel like it's wrong of everybody trying to blame Anakin for his portrayal in there, because the actor is just a tool. He's just a medium for which the director is trying to tell the story.
Yep.
You know, so the director directs the actor on how to act. So, you know what I mean? Whereas I like Anakin, I think the best Anakin is Clone Wars.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But I think we're digressing. We should keep on Bad Batch.
Anyways, back to Bad Batch. So how many episodes have they announced for this? Is this going to be a longer series?
I want to say 6 or 7. Maybe something that's I think it's 6 or 7. So May 4th, Tuesday, is going to be a 70-minute one.
Okay.
And Friday is another one. And it'll be
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah.
I thought it was going to be Tuesday, and then we had to wait until next Friday, and I didn't know that it was going to be 70 minutes.
Yeah,
Tuesday,
that Friday.
Amazing. So will that be 55 minutes of actual story and another 15 of let's get all the credits in?
I don't know. I hope it's a full 70-minute.
The one nice thing is we don't have to worry about COVID with this one, because voice actors can do it from their home.
Well, what do you think about a possible Inquisitor showing up?
I think that would be really cool, because we really haven't seen Inquisitors in a canon version of Star Wars. At least not that I remember.
Interesting. Yeah.
I know that we got to see some Inquisitors in the show Rebels, I think it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We saw a lot.
There was a lot, but I know that they've kind of said that that wasn't truly canon. That was more what could happen if we wanted it to happen.
Isn't it either it is canon or not canon?
It's so hard to tell with Star Wars lately what's canon, what's not. I honestly think they're going to take episodes 7, 8, and 9 and make it non-canon very quickly.
Well, when they went full force in battling the Inquisitors, they were at that. I think they were at a Sith temple.
Yeah.
So correct me if I'm wrong or not, but I think the holocrons are definitely canon, and that pretty much they were there all about the holocrons. And while they were there looking for the holocrons, they were fighting Inquisitors. So to me, you can't have the holocrons canon and then also tell a part of the story with the Inquisitors and say that's not canon.
Yeah.
But then again, it's Star Wars. You never know.
Past Point says, just throwing it out there, what if there was more than one Bad Batch nobody knew about? That would be awesome. Ooh, if you could see Bad Batch against Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Nobody knows.
What
Omega.
what if there's a Bad Batch of Inquisitors?
Ooh. Don't forget, there's Omega, that little clone, that young clone. That's everybody.
Yes. So talk to me more about that, because I really didn't get any information on Omega.
Oh, okay.
No, it's not Omega Red. We're not getting more into that.
No, it's not even, nothing close to that. So, well, as you know, as many people know, that young clone, and it is a clone, is called Omega. Omega, I believe, in the Greek alphabet, is like the last letter, or it means last, or something like that.
Yeah.
Because at that time period, they were so stretched, with cloning, that they were kind of at their end of quality clone genetic material, I guess you would say. I'm no genetic scientist, but I think that's what how it works.
Yeah.
And she came about. And what's so interesting is they really did a marvel on us, Star Wars. They really they put her in blonde hair that was very Palpatine-esque, what I mean? To make us think a little bit, whereas most of the other clones are dark hair, and even her skin was very light, whereas a lot of the other clones seemed very olive skinned. So that was interesting. And then she has that emblem on her forehead that Lamasu from Camino, who was the point person that Kenobi was speaking to about the whole clone troopers. Maverick says, "Damn, VK's everywhere."
What's up, Maverick? And Worldwide Comics, how's it going? Yeah, we're gonna get another Mephisto appearance probably. Mephisto's been
like this.
Mephisto's been rumored for all of 2021. Why not throw him into a Disney Plus Star Wars show too?
And then, so with Omega, more and more of the trailers are popping up, and more of the trailer they're showing, and the more and more Omega is like enamored, knows who they are, is amazed who they are, and is like excited to see him. So she heard about the Bad Batch, and so whatever she heard. So when people like somebody they do not know, that means they already have something in common, or they assume they have something in common. So I interpret it as that clone Omega was like, oh my God, the Bad Batch is like me, and I'm like the Bad Batch. We're clones, kind of different type of clones. So that was kind of interesting how she is gung-ho to join them and do some things. And she's not afraid to mix it up, because they show her with that nice, a lot of people say that's a Night Sister bow. It's a and a couple people think it was a lightsaber turned into a bow. So that was cool, because you got to remember,
interesting.
You got to remember what's his name in Rebels. Ezra turned his little blaster into a saber blaster.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So there's already a trend of the young new characters making their own type of weapons. So now, is the story about the Bad Batch hiding Omega, or is the story about the Empire chasing Bad Batch to kill them, or is it a little bit of both? Any good story, it would be a little bit of both.
See, I feel like if they were to take it that route.
One quick question.
Go ahead.
Who is that? It's very distracting. Right below me.
Oh, the background?
Who is that?
That's Black Cat.
Okay.
So for those of you who don't know, this is Omega hiding behind us. It's going to be hard to kind of show her, I think. But anyways, that's Omega. That's who we're kind of talking about. And I mean, total difference from most clones. Just completely out of left field. Very, like VK said, just very different in every way, I guess is the best way to put it.
Oh yeah.
Like we see, the hair's different, the hair color, the eye color, I believe, is different.
Skin Her skin tone looks very light.
Yeah. It's clones are very known for their features.
Yeah.
And they're known for that deep jawline. They're known for the big cheekbones. Like that face of a clone is Boba Fett all day long. Like
Yeah.
you see it and you know it. Or Jango Fett, I should say. You see it and you know it, and it's just kind of that's who the clones are. That's who we know them to be. So now that we're seeing this new clone, and like you said, she's named Omega. She's kind of being pulled from the comic, or not the comics lore, but like the clones lore of this. We pushed our cloning to the limit. We only had this. So now we're running low. And I mean, they mentioned that all throughout Clone Wars. That the reason why they were keeping Jango around was to continue pulling DNA from him. And then when they killed him in episode 2, I mean, that was the end of it. There was no more DNA to pull from. And we started to see kind of these clones that just weren't living up to snuff, I guess is the best way to put it. You're muted.
There is a batch of really important blood work the Empire is in control of. Don't forget, in Mandalorian, they took Grogu's blood.
Yes.
So who knows if the Empire is going to do a whole crew of Force-sensitive clones with Grogu blood. But
that would be cool.
That's for Mandalorian season 2.
Yeah.
But what nobody's talking about, her outfit. I wonder if her outfit could give us some clues.
Okay.
I'm surprised nobody talked about it, because I was looking at it and I'm going, that looks a little interesting. Like, I've never seen that type of outfit.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Do you remember in Clone Wars when the young clones were getting a tour of the ship? I can't remember if they had that outfit on.
I don't think so.
All right.
It doesn't look familiar. I want to say the young clones were all white with their outfit.
If anybody knows in the chat, let us know. Because I was thinking, I was like, maybe that could give us a little clue on that. And then back to also what you were saying about the Night Sisters. A lot of people think that bow she was using is a Night Sister bow.
Okay.
Now, do you remember that bow in Clone Wars? Were the Night Sisters using that bow?
I don't think so.
Okay.
That bow doesn't bring back any memories. I don't want to say it. Kind of.
I'm looking it up. See if I can see.
It doesn't even look reminiscent of anything that I kind of remember being canon from anything that I've seen Clone Wars related. I'm looking at the young cadets. They were wearing blue vests with kind of like that maroon sleeves.
Oh, yeah.
So kind of the exact opposite of what she's wearing.
Gotcha.
She's got the white shirt, maroon, orangish kind of stripe.
Oh, here it is.
And then blue going down the sleeve.
Yeah, you read that?
Yep.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I mean. So see how it's different?
Yeah.
I wonder what that means.
And why is it completely opposite? I mean, realistically, it's the almost exact opposite of what we're seeing there. You're kind of seeing in that picture the VK showing like that blue vest, like I was talking about, the orange sleeves with a very small amount of white. Here you're seeing a ton of white, a little bit of the blue, and then a lot less of that orangish maroon color.
It's and also too, they're clones. So they're not supposed to stand out and have their own personality. They're all supposed to blend and be one.
Mm-hmm.
What she's wearing is personalized, is stylized.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost like saying, I'm not just a clone.
Yep.
So we'll see where that goes. And also, too, another person pointed out, she's standing with her hands behind her back.
Yeah.
That's a very confident, regal position to hold yourself in.
Yeah.
Nobody always holds himself like that.
And I mean,
hands behind his back like this, standing, or he'll be like this.
Mm-hmm.
So that's interesting too.
And clones are trained. I mean, this seems like someone who is not trained as a clone. She's not being trained as a one of us type of deal. She's being trained as I'm me. She's like, it's kind of like almost there's a one-on-one training going on here.
Or was there somebody in Camino high up that took her aside and she picked up on these types of mannerisms, clothing, you know what I mean? Because look, she's got a pendant.
True.
No,
Yeah.
none of these other clones had pendants or jewelry.
Yeah.
She's got these stylized clothes, none of those clones had that. And also, too, I think in this picture, let me see, hairstyle. I think all the clones had, no, some clones had stylized haircuts, some had military cuts.
Yep. And,
Okay.
and that was the kind of cool thing about the clones is they did kind of stand out in that way. What's up, Hidden Gem? Good to see you, buddy. I liked how the clones did kind of stand out in that way. They did kind of create their own names. Obviously, you had Rex and Echo and Fives. Like there were just so many different clones that they had to stand out. They had to kind of create their own personality. And I mean, as humanoid beings, as humans, we create our own personality even when we look exactly like our twin. I mean, you can tell twins apart just by their mannerisms sometimes because they end up becoming totally different people, even though they were cut from the same cloth the way the clones are. So it's kind of interesting, to say the least, that we're getting this brand new thing. Like, why are we getting this is my biggest question. Why are all of a sudden in Bad Batch, obviously it makes sense to get something that's totally out of the norm, but why are we all of a sudden getting Bad Batch, and where is this going to go from here? What's going to be next after this? Is Bad Batch going to be kind of its own little thing, the same way that Mandalorian kind of isn't really, it's affected by outside stuff, but we're not seeing any effect on a main storyline right now? Like, where will this all go? Oh, you're muted.
My take on Bad Batch and where it goes would probably, I'm leaning towards, that's a good question. I'm leaning towards actually it going further than this season.
Okay. I'm hoping it does, in all honesty. If there's only 7 episodes,
yeah,
I think that it's gotta.
I think that they got such a good response from that Bad Batch appearance in Clone Wars that they said, okay, we're gonna do it. We're gonna give them their own show, film, whatever. We're gonna give their own project.
Yeah.
And then once they do give them their own project, that's when they go, okay, the project didn't go that well. They get killed off. The project goes really well. Okay, now let's see how we can get them into canon, or get them into, how are they going to fit into the Star Wars universe?
Yeah, I think I've said this for a while now. I think that Disney and Marvel and Star Wars are doing the best thing possible, and that's kind of test running these characters. We've said it a lot with Falcon Winter Soldier, where you had Torres. We said it a little bit with the White Vision. We were talking a lot about Photon, Monica Rambeau, where she would go.
Look at Walker.
Yeah.
No, you know what I mean? If when we did this, the first time we did this, and I said, everybody's going to love Walker. He's going to redeem himself. Yep. He's going to be the breakout of the show. People would have been like, what's wrong with you, Ro? You crazy? People thought I'm nuts. But look, he totally redeemed himself. People love the guy. You know what I mean?
100%.
Everything was Zemo. And then all of a sudden, everybody's like, that U.S. agent's cool.
One of my coworkers actually watched episode 3 for the first time last week. He was on episode 3. I said, hey, because he loves Batman. So I said, have you seen Falcon Winter Soldier? What do you think? And he goes, I've only seen 3 episodes. Right now, I'm absolutely loving it. I can't wait to see where it goes. I saw him today, and he goes, I finished episode 6 last night. Oh my God. It was phenomenal. And that's what we're seeing. We're seeing Marvel kind of dip their toe in the water and seeing if people respond to these characters, or are they not responding to these characters and we just need to kind of take the reins back, like you're saying with Bad Batch. Is Bad Batch going to be a one-off? Are they going to last for a while? Who knows? We could get so much more clones. We could get a Stormtrooper show. We could get so much out of this one little thing. Like, I don't know. It's amazing.
Pest Point asks, who are the writers and the producers? And what else did he ask? The writers,
etc.
So on Bad Batch, the writer's Jennifer Corbett, and the director is Brad Rau, R-A-U.
Two people I have never heard of before.
Yeah. Executive producers are Dave Filoni, thank God, Anthony Portillo, Brad Rowe, and Jennifer Corbett.
Okay.
Also, too, we got to talk a little bit about. So we talked a little bit about Barasofi. So I'm looking at the time here. We got to talk about Loki too. So,
so there's a lot to get into there.
What are we talked about Anakin a little bit. Quinlan Voss. Quinlan Voss. Now, in my research, I've been trying a lot of times. If you check the market on figures, on cards, on comics, sometimes you can get a little bit of inkling on what's going to happen with the show, or who's going to get hot, or who's going to show up, or nothing.
Yeah.
But the Star Wars market is a very different market than Marvel.
Yes.
I don't
definitely
see anything popping.
No.
Like the first appearance of Quinlan Voss, that was already, a high value book before Bad Batch,
Yeah.
So it's like, wow. But a lot of people are talking. There's a lot of chatter that Quinlan Voss is a strong candidate to show up with in Bad Batch, and that would be nice. That would be
so
nice.
For those of you guys who don't know, Quinlan Voss is a Jedi Master who was part of the final days of the Galactic Republic. I believe he was from Kifu. Is that how you pronounce it?
Not sure.
But he was part of the Jedi Order, and he was a rule bender, is the best way to put it. He did kind of his own thing. I mean, he wasn't, I don't want to say like the savage version of a Jedi, but at the same time, he was very, he was very, let's get the job done, kind of gung-ho, running, guns blazing Jedi who we didn't get to see a lot. I mean, Jedi are very well trained.
Look at this.
Yeah.
I love this picture.
They're very well trained and very disciplined fighters, and they're not
with the space.
They're not fighters. They're peacekeepers. That's what they do first. Fighting is one of their last things. Yeah. And I mean, Quinlan Voss, from what I remember, was the exact opposite of what you think of when you think of a true Jedi. He was kind of that badass character.
I think we should probably start on Loki, though.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So anyways, going into talking about how the figurines kind of lead into where the show might go. We actually got a Marvel Legends Loki character that kind of told us a lot about what's going to happen. So, I mean, one of the biggest things, this is coming out in about a month, a little over a month. We've got I want to say a month and a week or so, June 11th at this point. And we're going to see the Time Variance Authority, the TVA, play a role in this. Owen Wilson is going to play Mobius. It's going to be very interesting to see him in the Marvel Universe. Will he be a one-off character? Will he kind of move forward? One of the biggest questions that I have right now is, will we get a Kang the Conqueror appearance in this? Will we get some more time driven characters? Could this bring about Iron Lad, who is a time traveling character as we move into Armor Wars? Like there's so much that they could do with this. I want to say another 6-episode series. And first things first, they immediately start by talking about a sacred timeline. And as I was taking my notes and doing all that, I actually drew what that sacred timeline looked like.
Oh, cool.
And how it started to branch off and whatnot. And, sorry. It started to kind of branch off, and there were just different things going on. And Owen Wilson basically said, you broke the timeline. This is your fault. As soon as you picked up the Tesseract and put yourself into a whole new existence to escape, we arrested you.
And that's why that figure has him in a TVA uniform, because I remember Owen saying, you're going to help us fix it now.
Exactly. So he's working for the TVA. And I love the scene where they're saying, so this, and this, we know that you've done this. I've been studying you since before you even knew I was studying you, before you even knew what the TVA was. I know you more than you know yourself. Mm-hmm. And he says, I've literally watched you stab over 50 people in the back.
I saw that part.
And Loki's like, well, I won't do it again. I broke down laughing. I was like, okay, I need to pause right here. That's the perfect Tom Hiddleston thing to say. That's Loki to a T.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I don't think I'm watching Tom Hiddleston play Loki. I think I'm watching Loki play Loki when I see him on the screen. So, I mean, first things first, the introduction of the sacred timeline, our MCU being what we will probably come to know as Earth Prime. Where do you think that's going to go? Do you think that they're going to be able to fix the timeline, or is this going to lead into Multiverse of Madness?
Oh yeah, it's more explanation for Marvel fans on what the multiverse is about and how the multiverse works in MCU and how it affects the characters. Because I'm going to be honest here. I love Marvel. I love comics. I've been into it since I was a kid. I still have a hard time wrapping my mind around multiverse theory and the whole concept. You know what I mean? I can't even believe, the average person that goes to these Marvel movies, and they must be like, is that the Wizard of Oz road, or is that the road on Thor? Is that the multiverse? Like, what's going on here? Like, are they time traveling? Like, what's going on? Like, because I have a hard time wrapping my mind around it.
Yeah.
But I think what it is WandaVision, Loki. Each show is explaining to us more and more and a little bit, so we can fully understand when we get to Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness.
For sure. So I gotta say, like, this it opens up so many doors, and I do mean that kind of literally, because we see Loki go into these different realms in a way, and how we get to see the New York City is just blown to pieces in one reality. The Avengers Tower is sitting there in ruins. It's in complete destruction in a different timeline. We know that he broke reality. We know that there's just a complete breakdown of everything that Loki knew to be true. But is this Loki? That's one of the things that I saw. So when you look at the paper, as they put that stack of papers on the desk in front of him, and he's sitting in front of one of the time cops, or timekeepers, whatever they're calling them, he looks at it and goes, "This is absurd," and it prints out a new paper. On the top of that paper, it says variant L1130. So what I'm led to believe, and what I'm understanding from the research that I've done, is that there's 1,130 different variants of Loki out there. Yeah. Which is why in the one scene we get a female Loki.
Multiverse.
Yep.
Multiple versions.
Yep. And that's why we're seeing all these different timelines kind of breaking off. And the Loki that we know to be dead in Endgame, or in Infinity War, is Loki Prime. That's the original Loki. That's who we know. And now this Loki that has been brought in by the TVA is a whole different variant, and on his uniform it says variant.
Yeah.
So I cannot wait to see what they do with the TVA. It is such an interesting thing. There's rumors that Kang's going to be in this. Don't try to go buy that book. It's well past anything. It's just going to go up in price. I want to say it's in the thousands, tens of thousands probably. I think it was Fantastic 412 he was first in. And as not Kang, and then as Kang, he was in Avengers 8. So 2 books that are from the golden and silver age of comics pretty much that are already priced out of most collectors' price ranges. Unless you want to take out a second mortgage on your house.
If you do want to pick up, here's a little tip. If you do want to pick up some Loki books, look at his origin. Age books on Loki, his origin, and second and third appearances.
Okay.
That's a little bit of cheaper way to get into, Loki. So a lot of people are a lot of them were saying Fantastic Four 19 is first Rama Tut, that version of King.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I was off by a few issues.
And somebody's selling a 6.0 of Avengers 8, which is first Kang the Conqueror, for 2 Gs. 9.0s, 5 Gs.
Yeah. So thousands of dollars already. And I mean, if he's in it, even if he's rumored, Omega Red was rumored, and we saw that book go up $200-300 overnight.
Mephisto. Look at the Mephisto book.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people holding Mephisto books that are pissed.
Oh yeah. I can only imagine. And
be careful when you guys looking at certain websites and apps, for spec plays, because there's a certain app that a lot of people use, to when they tweet their fresh spec news. I was looking at it, and these 2 books were on their Loki spec page, and now they're gone. They removed them. It was this issue.
Okay.
And then this issue. And it was on there for the longest time. And then when I went on there today, doing my research and prepping for the show, I was like, well, isn't that interesting? They've removed those 2 books.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Past Point saying the next Spidey movie may further explain the multiverse if other Spider-Man show up also. There's actually some rumors about that too, and we can kind of get into that in a little bit. Because there's a lot going on with Spidey right now. Just rumors and speculation, and that's one of those ones that obviously first appearance of Spider-Man, first appearance of Mary Jane, first appearance of Gwen, whoever they end up putting in, those books are already $14,000, $15,000, $60,000, $70,000. Like, there's almost no way for a starter collector to get in on those books, but you can still speculate about where you think Spider-Man will go. So we'll get into that in a little bit. I want to continue to talk about Loki. The villain of Loki. Is Loki going to be just kind of righting his wrongs and seeking redemption in the same way that we kind of saw a redemption story with John Walker? Are we going to see female Loki be an antagonist of Loki? Are we going to see her help Loki? Like, there's so many different directions that I've seen people kind of taking the plot of this show. Where do you think it's going to go?
So the one thing that WandaVision taught me was don't dig too deep. Take it at face value, okay?
Yeah.
So the big baddie, it's Loki. Like, yeah, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? It's like, he's big enough. You know what I mean? Thor's brother. You got Thor, the good guy, and then Loki, the bad guy. So to me, he's the bad guy. What is it going to be more of a redemption story? I don't think he has to redeem himself. He's already loved.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? He's already loved. So I think it's more just about, I think it's just going to be a simple, entertaining Loki story because he's
Yeah.
entertaining as it is. You know what I mean?
100%.
WandaVision by herself, to me, not that entertaining. You know? It's the characters around her, it's the stories. The
Yep.
Loki, I could watch Loki in an episode of Full House. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, or any TV show. You know what I mean? Because it's just he's got that charisma. He's got that something that actors
Yes.
need, where they just walk on screen and you're like, oh, what's he gonna say?
My favorite scene that he's in is the get help scene from Thor Ragnarok. It was so funny. It was so perfectly done. Where Thor goes, let's do get help. And he throws Loki. And yeah, I mean, there's so much there to do with this character because Loki is a lovable character. He's a lovable villain. I don't think there's another villain in the MCU that has more fangirls chasing after him than anyone else.
Maybe Zemo. Zemo could be a close second. Zemo got some props this last show.
He's got the dance moves. Yep.
Yeah.
It's definitely the way that they're taking this Loki story makes it seem like he's going to be his own worst enemy. He's going to go and he's going to try to fix everything and he's going to do this, but the TVA is going to be kind of his way to figure out how can I break the multiverse a little bit more? How can I tweak the multiverse to fit my own twisted mindset? What can I do to benefit myself with all of this? And
that is Loki's MO.
Yeah.
Because just like the Tesseract, he was sitting there in handcuffs going, Jesus, what am I going to do? How am I going to get this? How am I going to wait a minute?
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Okay. So that's Loki. He's always getting into mischief.
Yeah. He's one step ahead. He's trying to figure out the best way to be the worst.
Now you mentioned young Loki and kid Loki.
Yeah.
I do not have a theory on how they're gonna put that in there. Do you have one?
Not really. I think that it's more just speculation at this point that they're gonna kind of take Loki from all these different timelines. I think they're just gonna follow this one variant Loki. And kind of just place different variants in his path that were caused as a result of his transgressions from the 2012 timeline where he jumps out of reality. And see, here's my other question. Where was he planning to go? Like, he had to know. I mean, he's a god. He has to know after thousands of years of being alive, there's someone out there, not the Avengers, who is going to capture him if he tries to do something that will wreck the timeline. Where was he going to go? Was he just going to escape and just be like, I'm out? Or did he have a plan?
No, he doesn't need to. He's Loki. You know what I mean? And he's a god. If you're a god, you can think you do anything. So
see, I feel like he always has a plan.
Well, that's what the Loki show is probably going to tell us.
Yeah.
What's the plan? Like, why did you mess up the timeline? What he had to have known it's going to cause a little ripple effect.
Oh, yeah.
The whole pebble in the ocean and, you know what I mean? Butterfly effect, so to say.
Yeah.
He had to know that was going to happen. But because he's Loki and he thinks he can get away with anything and he can trick anybody and fool anybody, like, I can manage time. Now, what is this character? There's like some female character, R-A-V. Here, let me get it. Oh, wow. They took it out too. They took that book out too. Huh. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No, I don't.
Jack can help us. There's a character in the show, a female character, and it was the first couple letters were R-A-V, something like that.
Okay.
And she's supposed to show up. And I was like, okay, are they going to finally give Loki somewhat of a female interest, or no, or what's this about? Or is that the female that he turns into or tries to become, or who knows? That,
Okay.
thank you. Comics by the cover. Give that man a Ravona,
Ravona Renslayer.
Comics by the cover. How is she affiliated with Loki? You know? Or I could just Google it.
Eh,
Did you hear,
that's what it's for, right? All
hear
these
that
phones.
before?
What was that?
Did you hear that name before?
I have not.
Okay. Because she plays she plays a good sized part.
Okay. Yeah. See, that's the other thing. Marvel's been keeping Loki very close to the vest. Have you noticed that? They haven't been announcing as much as they did for Falcon Winter Soldier and WandaVision. They kind of kept it. Ravonna was Kang's love interest. I knew there was supposed to be something that brought Kang into this. That's what it was. Ravonna is going to be the reason why Kang wants to get involved with the TVA. Or the reason that the TVA is looking for Kang is because of Ravonna.
Oh, here we go. Who is Ravonna Renslayer? Loki's new villain and Kang link explained. You want to read it to you real quick?
Go ahead.
All right. Loki images reveal the primary character to be Judge Renslayer. Here's who Ravonna Renslayer is in the comics and what her connection is to Kang. I'm sorry if I brutalize your name. Gugu Mbatha Raw's role in Loki has been revealed to be Judge Ravonna Renslayer. Oh, she's a judge. She's the one that judges Loki in the Time Variance Authority trial.
And that's what Mikey's saying too.
Okay.
Interesting.
An agent with the Time Variance Authority, an organization responsible for maintaining the proper flow of time, Renslayer has a lot of comic book history, and she's most deeply connected to Kang, a conquering time-traveling villain who could finally appear in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I honestly think that if Kang enters the cinematic universe, we're going to get something along the lines of Battleworld.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you make the connection from Battleworld with the Loki show?
So and I might be totally off on this. I'm pretty sure that it might actually be Secret Wars that I'm thinking of, but I'm pretty sure Battleworld was brought about by Kang.
Interesting. I'm not sure on that.
I thought
was brought about from Beyonder. No?
I don't think so. I think Kang was the lead. Beyonder might have been part of it, but I thought that Kang was going to be, or was the person who kind of wanted to have this contest of champions in a way. Yeah.
So they're saying this Judge Renslayer is going to be the antagonist, and she has a plan. So in actuality, maybe Loki's playing a hero, and Judge Renslayer is the evil one, because they're saying that Judge Renslayer has a plan, and they're afraid that Loki's going to ruin it.
Interesting. So it's almost like Loki's finally screwed up so much he can only screw up correctly.
And she's not really a superhuman. She's highly intelligent and skilled in hand-to-hand combat, but she's not so much like your typical superhero. But she does have the capability to travel time. Oh, wow. It says here that at one point Renslayer wanted to destroy Kang the Conqueror.
Interesting. Well, I mean, it would make sense. Women do love to destroy what they love. Just totally kidding.
That
was a joke.
Like a woman scorned.
Comics by the cover is saying, I thought Battle was part of Doom when he became a god. I honestly see, now I'm second guessing myself. Maybe, like I said, maybe I'm totally off. I could have sworn that Battleworld had to do with Kang, or kind of was brought about by someone. So the first Battleworld debuted in Secret Wars crossover.
Mm-hmm.
Second Battleworld was in Beyond. Third Battleworld world was in Secret Wars #2, merged from dozens of fragments taken from many planets by the Beyonder. Battle Wars designed to provide an unfamiliar environment, which nevertheless allowed for all contestants to use their powers to the fullest.
Oh, Battleworld. It's saying Battleworld was a patchwork planet constructed by the Beyonder,
Yep.
who used pieces taken from hundreds of worlds, including Earth, to create an arena for his secret wars. During this time, Doctor Doom stole the Beyonder's powers.
Okay.
And you felt it was connected to Loki in what way?
I thought that was going to be connected with Kang. I thought Kang was the person who created Battleworld through his time traveling and all of those powers. But I'm off. My bad.
So now it's going to be, now that we're getting a little bit more idea of who this Ravonna is, it's going to be kind of interesting to see what exactly is her plan. So pretty much is this show just all about, Loki and this Ravonna trying to outwit each other?
Yeah. And I mean, I love a battle of wits. I think that it could be an absolutely amazing scene to kind of bring about something that creates an uncomfortable situation for Loki. I feel like Loki always feels like he's the smartest guy in the room because typically he is. Typically he's one step ahead of everyone. And even in the Battle of New York, he was trying to be one step ahead of Thanos. He was trying to, I'm doing this for someone else, but at the same time, I'm kind of doing this for me. I'm going to use this to my advantage. And honestly, I feel like he's always 3 steps ahead of everyone, 1 step ahead of the smarter people in the room. He usually tries to stay in favor with those who he feel could help him. But I mean, if he's got someone who is just as smart as he is, superhuman level intellect without being a true superhuman, I mean, then we've got a really cool kind of battle on our hands, and not in the sense of a fight, but more in the sense of
battle of the wit.
Yeah, trying to feel each other out, trying to make it happen in one way or another. And I mean, we could be totally off on what Loki's going to be about. No, I said,
I kind of like that maybe it's going to be not so much guns and bombs and fists.
Yeah.
It's more about, this Ravonna and Loki having a chess match, and then Kang coming in, misinterpreting this chess match and thinking it's Loki's interested in her, and then Kang just being like, I'm going to snap your skinny neck like Thanos.
And so post Loki, do you think that we're going to get Loki back in the MCU? Is this variant now going to become Loki Prime?
Oh, yeah. I feel it will. Yeah, they can't put this much put this much material, MCU Marvel canon material out there and not, go with it.
Yeah.
I could see them stopping it if the show isn't good, you know what I mean, and just going, oh, that was just a little Loki side trip, But I think it's because they don't even say a word on a script without it meaning something.
Oh yeah.
So them doing a whole show, of Loki means that this is a big piece in the MCU, and that's part of the fun in doing it, is going, how does this Loki show, how does this fit into the bigger MCU picture?
Which is a question that we've kind of been asking with a lot of stuff that's coming out in Phase 4. I mean, no one has any idea where Falcon Winter Soldier is going to go from here. No one really has any idea where WandaVision is going to go from here.
America 4.
Yeah, but it's like I'm talking more like the John Walker storyline. The Madam Hydra storyline.
Yeah.
Now we have coming out right after Loki's done, Black Widow. So Black Widow is going to do more with Thunderbolt Ross. It's going to do more with probably Super Soldier Serum or some version of the Super Soldier Serum.
Oh, yeah,
we saw it.
Vials.
Yeah, we saw the exact same vials in Falcon Falcon and the Winter Soldier, but they were blue.
Yeah.
So is this red one going to bring about Red Hulk? Like, there's so many different reasons that all of this is happening at the same time. And are we going to see something pretty amazing? I think we are. I think that it's all going to tie together, and they just don't want us to know that it will yet. And that they kind of had to jump back in time with Black Widow, because I actually saw something recently that Taskmaster is at the raft with Zemo.
Really?
Yep. That's a possible theory, that Taskmaster at the end of Black Widow is going to get captured, not killed, and brought to the raft to be part of the Thunderbolts or the Dark Avengers or whatever team ends up coming out of the raft.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. That is really good. I'm going to start digging into that and see if I can get more news on that and more info on that. I like that a lot. I think that's a good theory.
Because it's like, where else could we go with this?
Yeah.
Why introduce a Black Widow solo film all of a sudden, except for the fact that now Marvel's finally ready to do a solo female film that we got introduced to in Phase 1. I don't think that they thought that the world was really ready for a solo female film until they saw the success of Captain Marvel.
Ah, good point.
Yeah, I think they wanted to introduce a more well-known character before they went on and did a not so well-known kind of background character who didn't really have any superpowers, was just kind of fighting. And now it's like, okay, who is Black Widow? What can we see from her? And how can we push the Marvel story forward using a character that no longer has a story to push forward?
Also, too, to give more credence and weight to your Taskmaster theory, that character is not accurately really portrayed for us MCU fans. If you've seen his outfit, a lot of people have complained about it, you know. But the reason why they did it,
You're muted, buddy.
the reason why they did it is because of Asia. The culture there, they're really negative on a skull mask.
Okay.
So to me, he's a one and done. And what's going to be a one and done? He gets arrested.
Yeah.
So I'm really liking your theory on that.
I don't think you can kill someone who just knows so much about all of these heroes. Like, we think that he's probably going to use Stark technology. I love the outfit too. Honestly, Mikey, I think that
I want the original one.
I like the original, but
he looks like a bad Power Ranger. He looks like a bad Power Ranger to me. You know what I mean? Like a reject Power Ranger. He looks like a reject Power Ranger villain. I'll get you.
So we have seen a few different versions of the mask in the trailers. I can't think of. I think it was the most recent trailer where we got to see more of the skull. And I'm kind of wondering if each mask has a little bit different of a function, because they were saying that he was actually using probably Stark technology to kind of learn other moves, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I have heard that. Oh yeah, like look at this version.
Yeah. Yep. It's got a lot more skull to it than anything else.
I don't remember him having a blue and red suit.
No.
Interesting.
So in the comics, it was a little bit more. Obviously, he had the skull, truly a skull, not really a mask. But I mean, also, you kind of have to adapt it to what actually would make sense. I mean, from what I understand, Taskmaster is not a super, not enhanced, I guess is the best way to put it. Yeah.
That, come on. Comics by the
Oh, yeah.
cover. Look at that. Give me this dude. That dude I want. That dude. They do a final skull mask reveal to, fanboy us out. I hope so, man. Maybe they'll do a shot when he's like, showering and getting ready and he puts on his favorite mask.
Maybe this is just the beginning of Taskmaster. Maybe we're going to see the evolution of him as a character too.
Yeah. Because I like it. I don't like this. I don't like this version. I like the comic version. Did you want to go over New Comic Book Day? A couple of the books that are hot, or
sure? Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah.
What did you enjoy? So I'll start with my rejects real quick.
Well, actually, I didn't. Actually, I had just hit up a couple of my friends who own shops, and I said, "Hey, what's everybody picking up? What's sold out fast?" Berserker #2.
Yep.
Black Widow #2. The Silk #2, the 1 in 25 variant.
Okay.
Nottingham, second print, and then Berserker third print.
Okay.
And then crossover.
Yeah, and crossover, I haven't read it since issue #3. I know that Meta was talking a lot about it, how it's going to be something big, and it's Donny Cates. This is going to be the last issue that Donny Cates is on, and it's kind of his brainchild baby that he's passing off, I guess.
Yeah.
I wasn't too impressed with it. I have 4 and 5 to read. I'm going to pick up 6. I don't know that I'm going to be holding on to it for too long. I don't think that it's going to be one of those ones that stays in my collection forever. I don't know. It's one of those weird things where it's like, yes, it's a good comic book, but I don't know that it's going to be timeless. I don't know that it's going to be.
Oh yeah, I don't think
something. I think it's just, what can we do if we are given the opportunity to do something where everything that a superhero does affects the world, and what would that look like?
Oh, okay.
And yeah, and I think that's what crossover was meant to do, and I think that it's done it well. I don't want to bash it because I enjoyed reading it. Issues 1, 2, and 3 were a fun read. It was weird, I guess is the best way to put it. The different artwork styles, the different, it was kind of chaotic a little bit to read, just with the different styles of writing and whatnot, the different styles of artwork within the same book. But it was definitely fun, I have to say.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Maybe I've just read too many Silver Age books or anything, but artwork in Silver Age, the detail in the panels inside the Silver Age, like I have a hard time reading modern books. So I unfortunately didn't read any of these. Last actually modern book I read was Immortal Hulk.
Okay.
Yeah.
I did pick up Silk #2.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
And Ken Wheaton is, I don't know if you know him. He drew Garfield for a few years. Simpsons. Yeah. He lives locally, and works at my local comic shop. And he read this and he said, "Did you like #1?" And I said, "I wasn't a fan, but I want to see where it goes." He goes, "You really don't, because it doesn't go anywhere. #2 was worse than #1." And I go, I don't know if I want to pick it up then. Like I really like the cover. It's really interesting. It's a Lee In-hook Yu cover, which I'm a huge fan of. His Flash covers have been phenomenal. You're muted.
Is that Werewolf or Man-Bat?
I want to say it's Man-Bat.
Oh, okay. There's something going on with Man-Bat. They're prepping him. I'm seeing him popping up in a lot of different comics lately.
Okay.
I think there's going to be something with that character. Past Point Comics says, I don't know. I was hoping for a Marvel or DC character to show up on crossover.
I was kind of hoping for that too, Past Point. And I mean, that's what we kept getting, was we were getting these little hints at Superman. We were getting little hints at something bigger than just, what it was doing, and I feel like it was kind of like that honeypotting. It just really didn't live up to what the hype was going to be or what it was. The other thing that I picked up, I actually have I should say 2 variants and the original cover. So 3 books of this, and all 3 of these covers are just phenomenal. This is Miles Morales Spider-Man number 25, the first appearance or the first part of the Clone Saga. I also made sure to pick up this variant just because it's such a sweet cover. And then I also, just because I love Deadpool, I picked up this variant as well.
Nice.
So
Miles has good covers. I'm not a
oh
Miles.
yeah,
Good cover.
definitely. Right now, I can't remember who's drawing him. I want to say it's Carnero is drawing this issue. I think it's always the second one that's the artist, typically.
Interesting. I didn't know that little tip. Interesting.
I need to dive into that a little bit more because everyone's like, oh, I love this writer, I love this artist. And I'm like, I just like the character. I don't really always pay attention to the writer or the artist. Like, I know the writers that I like, I know the artists that I like, but like that's not a make or break for me. If I see a really great cover by Leon Hook, I'm hooked. I love it. I see it and I buy it just because it's a sweet cover. The Flash covers that he's done, I buy them, but I don't go out of my way to buy his covers. Art Germ, I will go out of my way to buy his covers because I love his artwork. The way that he draws is absolutely phenomenal. And I think it's all painting too, for Art Germ. I think he does like a realistic paint style. The other one that I'm
different.
Yeah. The other one that I'm really excited about, and I just realized somehow that I picked up 2 issues of this, or 2 copies of it, is Beta Ray Bill number 2.
Oh, interesting.
If you're a Beta Ray Bill fan, which I wasn't until I read the current run of Thor, and it wasn't that I hated him, it wasn't that I didn't like him, it was more just I didn't know him that well.
Yeah.
So I basically was like, oh yeah, Beta Ray Bill. He's a different version of Thor. That's really cool. We're going to see him in the MCU. So yeah, I know VK, you've got to head out, so I'm going to let you go, guys. I'm going to stay and continue to talk. I've got one more book that I'm going to talk about, but VK, thank you for coming, and I'll see you next Friday.
Definitely, for sure. Thank you, chat. Always great with the chat here, Chris. Always great. Everybody, sub up Chris on his YouTube and Instagram. You can always find me on VKN Comics on Instagram. Come say hi. Always a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Take care.
Definitely. Have a good one.
Ciao.
All right. So just to quickly finish up, Beta Ray Bill, if you haven't read issue number 1, it was absolutely phenomenal. The way that they're doing this issue is just so interesting. I actually got out Thor's hammer just for this. Where is it? Right there. So hard because it's a mirrored image. I actually got out Thor's hammer because obviously Beta Ray Bill is a different version of Thor. He has Stormbreaker, and then with us talking about the Loki show, I wanted this as well. So I'm very excited to see where they take this. It is, I believe, a 5-issue miniseries currently. I'm going to dive more into this series with some shorts. So make sure to stay tuned on the channel, subscribe to the channel. That way you can kind of see where it all goes. And you can see if you want to pick it up for yourself. It's a really cool comic, and we've already kind of seen him in the MCU. Yes, he is in the MCU. We most likely will see him in Thor: Love and Thunder. I'm almost certain that they've guaranteed it, but we have actually seen him in Thor Ragnarok as one of the sculptures of the champions on the tower in the Contest of Champions that happens there. So this is just a really cool comic, really cool story arc so far. Issue 1, like I said, was absolutely phenomenal. I can't wait to read issue 2. And last but not least, this is actually a really amazing comic. It's Black Widow number 6. As VK was talking about, it's very interesting to say the least. The artwork, at least. And then it's also supposed to be a key. There's a first appearance in here that we're getting that is just going to be, it's supposed to be the next Black Widow or a daughter. I'm not quite sure exactly. So chat kind of help me out with that. But I'm very excited to kind of see where this goes. And I've been reading issues 1 through 5. I picked it up for my wife in the beginning, but honestly, it's been an absolute fun run. Thompson wrote this issue, so I just want to see where it goes from here. As always, thank you for lounging with us, and I hope that you learned something. I love the theories that we kind of came up with together. Past point, I know we never got to really talk about the next Spidey movie. If you want to talk about that with me, come join me on a live sometime. I would love to have you. I know that you just hit a pretty big milestone yourself. I actually just hit 500. My giveaway is going live next Wednesday. Past Points giveaway is going live on Monday on his channel. So go sub up Past Point 1 Comics. And as always, go sub up VK. He's been supporting myself. He's been part of the panel for the past 4 episodes now. And it's been a ball. It's just so much fun talking comics. I cannot wait to continue this. Natasha's new protege, that's what it is. Thank you for correcting me, Mikey. There's so much rattling around with everything that we had talked about. Like I said, these have been my notes that I've been kind of thinking about as I was kind of coming into this and kind of figuring out. As you can see, Past Point, this is all Spider-Man, where it might go, and I would love to do a video about that. So with all that being said, once again, thank you for lounging with us. It has been an absolute pleasure. I hope that you guys really enjoy reading whatever books you picked up this week, and then go check out Bad Batch on Tuesday. Have a great day, and I will catch you very soon. As always, go subscribe, like, comment on this video, and hit that notification bell. That's the way that us small YouTubers stay in the know, and you guys can kind of see. That's the way you stay in the know, I should say, because that's the way you see all of our content. It sends you a notification every time we go live, every time we send out a new video, and it allows us to really connect with our audience. I really hope to see more people on our live stream next Wednesday. Also, while I have you all, Legion of Comics is doing their giveaway right before we do our giveaway. They're going to go live at 9 Eastern. We're going to go live at 10 Eastern. So as soon as they're done, I'm hopping on StreamYard and going live. And 2 of our books will be, you have to be there to get them. And then the other 2 will be, you don't have to be there. So I'm going to do 1 in one and then 1 in the other. So all of that being said, have a great night. And if you're watching this on the replay, have a great day, night, afternoon, wherever you're watching it. See you later.